If you're on a tariff that pays you handsomely for export no matter what time of day, you could just empty your home battery just before midnight when the off-peak period starts and then refill it at a cheaper rate, pocketing all that difference. It's a clever hack, but is it wrong to use it? Hi there, I'm Gary and welcome back to my channel, Gary Does Solar. If you're lucky enough to live in a country where your energy provider still pays you for all the solar generation you can't use yourself, it's a great feeling. In the UK, for example, many providers will pay you around 60% of your normal electricity rate when you send excess power back to the grid. Even better, most pay that rate regardless of the time of day you export. And it's this last point, when combined with a tariff offering low-cost energy overnight, that gives rise to a clever hack to increase your earnings using your home battery. I'll first walk you through how the hack works in practice, and then I'll tell you why I just don't like it. And finally, I'll suggest a better and perhaps more future-proofed way forward. Okay, let's get into it. In order to look at how the hack works, we're going to look at this example tariff called Intelligent Octopus Go from Octopus Energy. It's actually one of the best energy tariffs available in the UK right now if you have an EV, offering a very cheap off-peak import rate of just 7 pence from 11:30 in the evening right through to 5:30 the next morning. Actually, this tariff also offers additional off-peak slots if your EV needs it, but that's really the subject of this video I made here if you'd like to know more. The link is in the description. As a side, I think you all know I'm a huge fan of Octopus Energy and I can't rate them highly enough as your energy supplier. If you want to switch to Octopus using my referral code here, you'll get £50 credited to your account. I'll also get £50 which will help support my work on this channel. Thank you. So what's also great about Intelligent Octopus Go is that it can be combined with a very attractive export rate of 15 pence, no matter what time of day you export. And it's actually the difference between these two rates that makes the hack work. To see how, let's first reposition our timeline a little so that we can see all of the off-peak period in the middle of the screen. And now let's superimpose the state of charge of a home battery on that same chart. And let's say that by 10 PM the home battery has a 50% state of charge remaining. What we'll do now is force discharge the battery down to say 5% or whatever lower limit you choose by 11:30 PM. We'll be earning 15 pence for every kilowatt hour we export during this time. Now we don't need to worry about the battery no longer having much charge left in it because we're now in the off-peak period where any electricity draw from the grid will be at the cheap rate of 7 pence. And we'll charge the home battery at this time. I'm charging back up to where the battery was before we started discharging, but you could charge it up to 100% or whatever level you like. By the way, I always recommend that you charge to 100% even if it's going to be a sunny day that day for a whole variety of reasons, all detailed in this video here. Again, the link is in the description. Okay, let's do some numbers then to see how much this hack might earn you over a whole year. We'll use a battery capacity of 10 kilowatt hours, and that way you can easily calculate the numbers for your own home battery size. The export rate is 15 pence, and we'll assume that we'll be exporting 50% of the battery capacity, which is 5 kilowatt hours. This will earn us 75 pence. The off-peak import rate is 7 pence, so we can work out the cost to get the battery back up to the 50% state of charge, which is 35 pence. And that gives us a notional profit for the day of 40 pence. I say notional because really we should take into account any round-trip loss of the battery, and this will vary depending on the manufacturer. And if we're able to carry out this hack every day of the year, the notional annual profit would be £146. Not too shabby. And of course, if you have a larger battery or a higher state of charge by 10 PM, you'll have an increased level of profit. And don't forget, if you're charging your EV any time around then, you're unlikely to be exporting anything from your battery to the grid at all. Instead, your EV will consume it. Just one to watch out for. So why do I not like this hack then? Well, there were two reasons why I decided to get a solar and battery installation a couple of years ago. The main one was financial. Energy costs were rising fast in the UK, and a few years ago an investment into solar just made financial sense. My electricity bills now are less than zero, and I'm expecting payback in about 7 years from now. But the second reason was to play my part in helping the environment. And I'm afraid this hack just doesn't sit well with me. You see, the grid is typically at its cleanest and greenest during the late evening and overnight, so dumping your battery into it then isn't helping as much as it could. And then, because you're immediately importing all that energy again to replenish the battery, you're essentially undoing what you've just done, and the result is surely no benefit to the environment at all. And your energy provider might not welcome this hack for the same reasons. Actually, they might have additional issues with it. I found this clause on Octopus Energy's terms and conditions, and other energy providers are likely to have a similar clause. We are not obligated to make export tariff payments to you for any brown export. That is, exported energy not generated by an eligible generation asset, including standby generators, batteries, and technologies not supported by the Smart Export Guarantee. Reading that, how could I be sure that the energy I export to the grid comes only from my excess solar generation? Some of it may well come from imported off-peak electricity stored in my battery. And actually, in winter, when solar generation is far lower, a fair proportion could be brown export. And there is the possibility that your energy provider might deny export payments for people using this hack. I just don't know. What do you think? So if this hack has some issues, is there a better approach? Well, I think there is. In the UK and many other countries worldwide, electricity demand on the national grid typically peaks between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. each evening. And in order to meet that demand, until sufficient utility-scale battery storage is widely deployed in the country, fossil fuel generation, primarily natural gas in the UK anyway, is frequently ramped up to meet the shortfall. This is an ideal time then to export the stored energy from your home battery onto the grid, directly reducing the need to burn natural gas. And looking at our diagram again, this is the time period we want to target. And let's say by 4 p.m. we still have 60% state of charge remaining in the battery. We'll start force discharging the battery then down to say 20%. Now we don't go down to 5% as we did before, because we need to ensure there's enough remaining state of charge in the battery to get us through to the start of the off-peak period. And with Intelligent Octopus Go, that's 11:30 p.m. When we get there, we start force charging the battery again up to whatever percentage we like. I much prefer this approach. I can still earn roughly the same amount of export revenue, and at the same time I'm also helping the grid and therefore the environment. Of course, it requires a little bit more management with the home battery, especially on days when there is little solar generation and there might not be much charge remaining in the battery by the time you get to 4 p.m. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this. Maybe you have a better strategy, and I look forward to reading your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Just a quick word about my solar directory if you live in the UK. I'm so pleased with how many people it's helping. The solar market is growing rapidly, but it does come with a downside. A whole wave of new companies starting up, all hungry for a slice of the profits. Unfortunately, many of those companies lack the expertise to do a good job, or worse, they're far more focused on lining their pockets than delivering genuine value to you. For that reason, my directory will only ever list the very best installers, ones I'd be happy to spend my own money with. It's really easy to use. Just type getreadyfor.solar into your browser, or scan the QR code here and join the many homeowners who've already benefited from the service. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel. You can also support my work by signing up to my Patreon here, and thank you to everyone who's done that already, including these supporters on the highest tiers. You really help to make all the videos and software utilities I make happen. Until next time then, all the best.